ITV, certainly the best.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
ITV. ITV, certainly the best.
Nigerians, good morning viewers on Independent Television. It's another beautiful time out on This Morning on ITV. My name is Philip Omo-Gyupo. Well, at a time when we have to decide how to make our government work, most especially when we are having issues of insecurity, there is an opportunity for us to sit down and discuss the way forward. And we look at the 2027 elections just forthcoming. What could be happening in this aspect, as we expect that the government of the day will look into the activities, of the law enforcement agents, and of course, to find a way, a lasting solution to tackle the aspect of insecurity headlong, an aspect where we are having the elections just inching closely, and then we're having the issues of insecurity just a few hours after the president assured Nigerians and of course the people of Plateau State that there was not going to be a reoccurrence. Another happened, and this again is setting ripples effect. Well, good morning, Anolu Akpa-Stevens.
Good morning, Philip.
You look bright this morning.
Of course you do.
You seem unperturbed about what is happening.
Well, I wouldn't say being unperturbed. I would say tired of talking about the same thing every single time on this table in Nigeria, because it has gotten to that point where a lot of Nigerians are tired. I mean, with what happened over Easter Sunday and what happened a couple of days before Easter Sunday on Palm Sunday, interestingly, we had feelers. There were actually information that the attack that occurred on Easter Sunday in Kaduna State and also in Benue State would happen. So it's not a situation of the security operatives not being aware. But now the question is why? Why do we still have the same situation reoccurring every single time, despite the fact that the DSS, the security operative, they have information, they have intel that these guys are coming over, and we see the same thing happen. As we speak now, there are some communities in Kogi State, in Kwara State that are being deserted in the northern part of the country, where a lot of commuters are running and just being scared for their lives, and they are no longer staying in their villages. How long would we continue like this? Is this going to be the norm? Well, you talked about the president's visit to Kaduna State over a couple of days ago. That was last week, and that also sparked reactions. Even before he visited the people who got affected, we had to call on the president to speak out, and that shouldn't even be. And then I remember saying, would he speaking out change anything at all? Now, a couple of days after, we see the same guys, terrorists, attack another community again. The chief of defense staff, or the minister of defense, Christopher Musa, has said and ordered police operatives and security outfits in Nigeria to shoot on sight at terrorists. But is that a way forward? Are we moving towards having self-defense? A couple of months back, we had a particular chieftain in the APC, Senator Ned Nwoko, talk about arming ourselves and carrying guns, basically. Is that where we're heading to? And I also remembered a couple of months ago, or a couple of days ago, we had the president talk about state police, with the new IGP also reiterating what the president said and said, okay, state police is the way forward. But as we speak, we haven't gotten any concrete information as regards that. There's a whole lot of things happening in Nigeria as we speak.
Exactly, and all of this happening just close to the elections, and sometimes you want to wonder why this should happen when we are getting close to the elections, and some could say it could have a political coloration, most especially when even the president has a lot, in terms of what a lot of people are saying as regards political developments, and of course the realignment of the opposition, which seems to be fragmented, though he gets the dominant ruling party. And again, questions are being asked. What is the attention of the government? Is it more on the election 2027 or tackling insecurity? Well, let's join Dominic MSA of Abuja Studios, and of course after that we get also greetings from Patricia Gabriel of our Lagos studio. Good morning, Dominic.
Philip, and good morning, Noah Luapo. It's a delight to be here again on the program this morning on IT. Quite interesting opening there, but the question is that are we going to continue living in fears in a country as old as Nigeria? This is a country that prides itself as one of the biggest, largest, whatever acronym you want to use to describe Nigeria as the giant of Africa and all that. Even in terms of military, we've seen our military perform excellently in most operations within the region. But when it comes to internal security, just like you mentioned, nobody can really tell if it's linked to politics. Election is just by the corner, and we're having persons killed every day. I know I was talking about the president's visit to Plateau State. He got a wag. There's so much wagging on that his visit, because he did not really go into the community where this whole issue happened. He stopped at the airport, and many persons are asking questions. Now, why would you not bring the victim to come and meet the president at the airport? Why didn't the president go and say, sir, why would they not go and meet? But the excuse the presidency is giving is that there were no lights for the president's plane to take off when it's dark and all that. But that's not the excuse. The order that the military should ensure that they shoot at sight. We saw press releases this morning. Some terrorists were killed in Plateau State and all that. Nobody is really telling us the truth about the crisis in Plateau. I've lived in Jos for quite some time. We really don't know. Is it religion? Is it tribalism? Is it politics? It has been on and on. And Philip, if you watch what is happening in Iran just a few hours ago, where the president briefed of the rescue of 2 of his troops, just 2 U.S. personnel, 2 U.S. The pilot and one other this morning. If a pilot can be rescued from
Well, sincerely apologize for the breaking transmission from our Abuja studio as well. Funny though, even we look at the challenges we have faced as a people, but I was almost caught in my breath when Dominic Ayemese spoke about the fact that the president did go into the interior, into the community, rather stayed at the airport. But sometimes I don't want to laugh over this.
It's not funny, but then it's funny again. The persons you went to commiserate with had to come down to where you are to meet you. I mean, who does that?
Exactly.
And then during his speech to that woman who trended over the past week with her child who lost her only son, the president said to her, I cannot give you money, I can give you, there's no amount of money I'll give you that'll be able to suffice for what happened, but it's only God, it's only God. And then I asked, that's our president speaking and calling out on God, and what an average Nigerian would do. God will help us. And hearing it from the first man in Nigeria says a lot.
Says a lot, says a lot. Well, let's get your thoughts on that. Patricia Gabriel from our Lagos studio. Good morning. Once again, we apologize for that glitch. As soon as we're able to get clear signals, we will be having them join us. But let's look at the spread. Even though we're having this as challenges, does it mean that we can tackle it? Because if we really want to solve the issues of insecurity, like some political experts and security experts will say, it's not going to take more than 48 hours.
Absolutely. So I think what is going on now is a systematic problem. A particular stakeholder has called for an urgent national security summit where all the stakeholders will come together to prefer lasting solutions to this, because we are tired of the paper conversation. We're tired of reassurances and assurances from the president saying we would win terrorists, we would win this, we will win that, but then at the end of the day, we do not see that even occur. So with what is going on right now, it's a systematic problem and it needs to be fixed head on before it de-escalates, even though some persons would say it has gotten as bad as it should be at this point. Okay,
well, suffice me to say that there's still another aspect where the president could be winning the fight, most especially if we take it to the corridors of power, political angle towards the 2027 election. You could see the dominance of the ruling party. And of course, winning against the fragmented opposition of the other parties, and many thoughts come to mind, most especially. You look at the 2027 election coming so closely, and you ask yourself, do we have an alternative opposition party that could come in competitiveness with the ruling party come 2027? Because we seem to be tilting towards a one-party system, like experts say.
Of course, that is a big problem. And at this point, a lot of Nigerians should be fearing for democracy and the output and outcome of democracy in Nigeria. Even though our president during the APC National Convention in Abuja did say that, you know what, we're not tilting towards a one-party state. He also did say some time ago that politics is sweet when you are winning. Now, all of these are contradictory messages and conversations surrounding it. But the issue of the opposition party in Nigeria, I don't know. Honestly, we had the PDP and we saw how dastardly affected the PDP went on, and now we also had the ADC coming on board, and we're now seeing a bit of hullabaloo happening within the ADC. Now the question is, how long would this actually tally? Now let's not forget, yesterday we saw INEC suspend the revalidation of PVC. That also sparked a lot of reactions as to why you'd want to revalidate a permanent voter card. Is it that the current administration is pretty much not settled and still not, you know, at peace with having over 31 governors at your side, and then there are feelers that you're still trying to shake the opposition party, even though the APC has actually denied it. But this is where we are at this point in Nigeria, and we can only keep our fingers crossed that things should, you know, actually fall into line as we move over to 2027.
Like they say, politics is a game of numbers, and somebody must win in the course of the game. And of course, while some may also lose, but we look at the gulf, we look at the gap in between, and some ask the big question, do we have an electoral umpire that can basically stand in between and make sure that it declares or expresses neutrality, a situation where some would not be having their trust in the electoral umpire, because we can't forget what transpired in the general election 2023, and of course the presidential election, and all questions are being asked. What will happen to the neutrality of the electoral umpire, you know, come 2027? Well, let's get you from our Lagos studio. Good morning once again, Patricia Gabriel.
Good morning, Philip, and I hope you're hearing me this time. And good morning, Anu. Okay, talking about the insecurity in Nigeria, it's quite alarming, it's becoming scary, and just one question everybody's asking. Is it that the federal government is powerless? Is it that they can't handle insecurity in Nigeria? And if that is yes, who's going to do that for us? Okay, let's look at the visit of the president to Plateau State, Jos. And after that, the killings continued. For me, I think they dared Mr. President, and I expected that action should have taken place almost immediately, because that was like daring the president after the visit. And I mean, the terrorist says, who cares? And they continued whatever they were doing, taking lives of Nigerians. And I expected that the federal government and the security outfits should, you know, stand up to their toes and, you know, take charge of this situation, because it looks like it's getting out of hand. And then, okay, you all also talked about the 2027 elections as if it's gearing towards just one-party system. If you take a look at it, that's what it seems like, because the ADC is having a whole lot of challenges in their party, and of course with all the INEC sacking of the chair of the APC, ADC, and all that, it seems we're getting into just one-party system, and the elections are very close by. I do not know how Nigerians are going to accept this, and looking forward to seeing what we have. We hope that will be position party. From Lagos, we'll be looking at the president's visit to Plateau State, just like we've been discussing about it. And we're going to be having a guest who's going to, you know, make justice and talk about what the visit had caused. Did it bring to solving the problem? Was there any change with the president visiting Plateau State? And what was that he didn't get into the states? And he says because there's no light in the airport for him to take off when he will be going. I mean, he is the president of the country, and the killings was quite a big one. So if he sleeps in Plateau State in Jos, I don't think anything would have gone wrong. So we're going to be looking at all of this to know if the visit brought about changes. That's what we're going to be looking at from our Lagos Network studio.
Thank you, Patricia. If there's no light in the airport, who takes the blame? Is it the people? A situation where, you know, lives are killed every day just because one party or an opposition or those in power just wants to make a point, you know, goes a whole lot of way to give us the impression that what they just do in politics is just giving us lip services and being hypocritical.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's even hilarious for that statement to come out of our president that it's because of lack of electricity.
Imagine.
Really, in this
forgetting the fact that you made a promise
age,
in that regard.
Absolutely. In this modern age, we're still talking about lack of electricity in the airport, and that is why you did not want to go into the community to meet those persons, and they had to come there. You spent nothing less than 10 minutes right there. I don't know. Which way Nigeria is the question? Which way? Which
way Nigeria? And sometimes you want to ask the questions. Who pour problems to the opposition parties? Who disturbs or disrupts the activities in PDP?
Right.
Who does in ADC?
Well, isn't it worrisome that all of this is happening now in the electionary period, from the PDP down to the Labour Party and to the ADC? We do not have any stable opposition party in Nigeria. And then when you speak, a lot of persons will come for you. Somebody would say the person might likely shoot you. And that's sparked another reaction where we got that from the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, even though he has clarified it. But at the end of the day, when a word is out, it's really out.
I think one has to be careful.
Absolutely.
The shop is safe. The moment we leave here.
Press freedom. That's
there's going to be another point where someone is going to say is going to shoot.
I don't think we have that kind of person in Edo State or in Nigeria right now. Perhaps they would have learned their lessons.
Yeah,
right?
That reminds me of an adage that says that if the hunters say they're going to shoot without missing, the birds will fly without perching. And it's expected that as we head towards the 2027 election, politicians should, you know, be careful, cautious of their statements. Because you hold public positions, and so whatever you say may be used against you. The electorate holds the power, but we seem not to understand the fact that if we don't come out en masse and declare, take a mandate, take a decision, then this crop of politicians will continue to pauperize us, weaponizing poverty. And it's expected that if all of these are happening, bringing about decadence in the political system, then the people should wake up and fight using their votes. Well, we'll take a short break, and after which we will be having the papers. Do stay. Said the taste of the pudding is in the eating, and so let's dive in. Bon appetit. We've got this on the Guardian newspaper. And we've got a lot here on the cover page on the Guardian newspaper. And the big headline says, opposition fights to stay on ballot amid legal and internal conflicts. That's quite a very big one. We've got this, it says, Obi's team alleges plot against 2027 candidacy as presidency kicks. You find that on the cover page, and that's on news page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And then we have this, it says, World Health Day concerns over health funding sustainability as U.S. exits leaves $1.9 billion deficit. Of course, we have this again, it says, audit links multi-billion naira abuse to old Union Bank management, and bandits plan reprisals in Zamfara as Plateau Benue death toll rises. You get that on news page 30. And again, this is what we're talking about, where, you know, the helpless Nigerians are used as pawns, you know, on the board of the game. And again, we have, as it says, tax dominates federal revenue as oil income declines by 26% in 15 years. And at the top of the cover page of the Guardian newspaper, we have this, it says, banditry weakening Nigeria's state structure. And Makinde Momodu raised concern over devolution into one-party state. Those are concerns that we've been talking about. And this says, reconciliation has collapsed in PDP, says ex-chieftain. And so we go to the next on the pages of the newspaper.
Away from that, the Daily Sun newspaper is up next. And the Daily Sun newspaper this morning leading with the big headline as regards politics. It says, ADC, INEC plotting to stop us from fielding candidates in 2027. Subwriter says, gives Commission 72 hours ultimatum. Youth Wing, a CSO threatened to occupy INEC offices. Now that's on page 6. Investigates Wike's threat against Channels TV presenter. NGE Serap urged Tinubu on page 27. Well, will that even happen? We'll see. Kaduna Community Fault Military says 31 abducted church worshippers still in captivity. Kaduna Community Fault Military says 31 abducted church worshippers still in captivity, which is sad. Away from that to other interesting headline this morning. Gunmen kill corpse, 2 others in Katsina Police Station, health center attacks. Now that's on page 4, with some writers saying troops intercept suspected terrorist with wounds in Yobe. Well, still on page 4, Ondo police arrest man 23 for alleged defilement of minor. Lagos-Ibadan Expressway auto crash claims 4 lives, 8 injured. That's still on page 4. And away from that, adopts Governor Umba's template in addressing insecurity. Methodist prelate tells leaders on page 29. So I honestly feel that while we're having the conversation, another major angle we didn't really touch on is as regards the safety of the security outfits, the security operatives, the officials who have laid down their life and put down their life to fight insecurity. Now, we're seeing on front page of newspaper where gunmen kill policemen. I think 2 of them were killed in the recent attacks. And we're not even talking about that angle. So it clearly means that a policeman, the security outfit, the army, the navy, and all of those who are involved are not safe.
That brings us to what the government prioritizes. Do you prioritize politics over the lives of Nigerians and even over the law enforcement agents? It's one thing for us to have this humongous amount, you know, being budgeted to tackle insecurity. But it's another to follow closely and see how genuinely all of these monies are expended. Most especially when you embark on such, you know, a security, you know, outfit to make sure that you tackle the aspect of insecurity. It's upon you as a government to make sure that you do the needful to protect the lives of the citizenry and also the lives of the security agents? Well, I think that question we're going to ask, we'll continue to ask. It's a mind-boggling question. Where we have it again, it says on the Daily Times, it says, Kaduna church attacks. Contrary to army claims, no abducted worshippers have returned. And so you wonder where that report came from, that they were rescued.
While we having propaganda, I don't think that's what we need right now in Nigeria. We just need this to be fixed and not having conflicting reports with the army saying this and another party saying, no, this is not what is going on. I mean, it's really, really pathetic.
Really unfortunate. And this says a lone crash, 4 die, 8 injured on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. That's a sad one. Nigeria loses $56.75 billion to a gas flaring on the Daily Times. Nigeria loses $56.75 billion to gas flaring as power and air opportunities slip. And that's what we have on the Daily Times.
Well, away from the Daily Times newspaper, let's turn our attention over to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, still leading with politics this time around. It says 2027, INEC plots to stop us. Who was speaking? ADC. Subletter says, party raises alarm over land mines. Party youth wing threatens nationwide civil action to occupy INEC offices. All of this and more on page 12. Away from that, federal government orders probe as indigenous barge operators shrink from 83 to 8 on page 3. Article to Tinubu, keep your words to stop killings. Now that is direct on page 4. Well, another person still speaking is Peter Obi, as he says, insecurity now national emergency. Subreddit says, warns against plot to block his candidacy. Don't blame Tinubu for your misadventure in ADC. Who was speaking? The presidency responding to the ADC. You get more of this on page 3. We're still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. In health, vaping, not just smoking, likely causes cancer, scientists warn. And, well, finally on the Nigerian Tribune, why Tinubu's ministers linked to 2027 contest failed to resign. Subreddit says, battle for tickets hot up in state. That's on page 4. Well, that's all the Nigerian Tribune have in stock for us this morning.
Well, the Nation's newspaper has got this to say in the big headline, we may not be able to field candidates in 2027, says ADC. But that sounds pessimistic. I never expected this headline to come in this way. But in another way, we can also look at it in the fact that what exactly is happening? We look at the political parties, you know, and having weak fragmentation against the ruling party, questions are being asked. And of course, that of the ADC, where the INEC has to say that they will not be monitoring the congresses, the conventions, and their meetings. That again brings a whole lot. We may not be able to feed candidates in 2027, says ADC. Maybe we would have a history that has never happened before, where we have a president-elect unopposed.
Oh, well.
Well, we don't pray for that.
We don't pray for that.
We don't.
Absolutely.
It should be competitive. This says, Oyo APC group takes stand on process to pick candidate. You get that on page 3 of the Nation's newspaper. And of course, we have this. It says, how financial abuses led to CBN's takeover of Union Bank. You get that on page 7. Zamfara government confirms killing of 100 bandits by troops. Agency begins probe of CNG buses explosion. You seem to keep some reservation.
Well, I'm not sure.
You triggered it. You triggered it.
I didn't trigger it. You said it and you actually chuckled. But this coming right now in that moment, or at that moment in Nigeria when we're facing a lot, when even Peter Obi has called out the insecurity situation in the country a national emergency, let's just hope it's not rhetoric and it's not just messy on paper and you're really flushing out these guys, because at the end of the day, the government officials, a lot of persons in power are aware of who these persons are, where they are now, according to Sheikh Gumi.
Well, back to the Nation's newspaper. Right. We have this. It says, Dangote Refinery boasts exports to ease petrol supply in Africa. And then we have this big photo. It speaks a whole lot. Nigeria must continue moving in that progression. Tinubu to inaugurate multiple Lagos state projects. We got that, and of course many more here. This says World Bank, only 10.5% of Nigerian women in paid employment. You get it on page 4.
Okay, away from the Nation newspaper, let's turn our attention now to the Vanguard newspaper, leading with politics still. It says 2027, INEC laying landmines to stop us from fielding candidates. According to the ADC, APC plotting doesn't want me on the ballot. Obi speaking, we have no hand in Obi's trials, according to Yalwada. Now, that's the APC chairman. All right. So, ADC Youth gives INEC 72 hours ultimatum to recognize the mark. INEC keeps mum. Don't truncate Nigeria's democracy. CISLAC wants INEC. Away from that, when science exists but care fails, Nigeria's primary health care in crisis. On page 13. Christian leaders raise alarm over insecurity, persecution in northern Nigeria, and that's on page 11. Well, on the front page of the Vanguard this morning, we have 2 pictures. Well, the first one, Otedola and Dangote visit to President Tinubu, and also Tinubu receives Jim Olvia right there. Now, away from that, PDP crisis, Benga Hashim weighs exit option. Atiku to Tinubu, enough of hollow rhetorics on insecurity. Now that's on page 8. Well, is that all we have on the Vanguard this morning? No, that's not all. It says Plateau attack, 7 states evacuate 1,630 students from Unijos. Unijos students injured in attack dies after ICU battle on page 6. Which is truly, truly pathetic. While still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, federal government raises alarm over decline in barge operations, others probe. NGE, NUJ, SERAP to Tinubu, investigate threats against Okimbaloye, other journalists. Now that's on page 7. Now let's quickly take a look at the Mr. and Mrs. corner. It says, woman, if you push me harder than this, you will see my other side. And then the woman responds by saying, like I care. And the man says, and you won't find it funny. And the woman says, I don't give a hoot. Your allowance stops right now, the man speaking. And the woman responds, so you want me to apologize? Men and women.
Of course, women don't take that as a petty issue when it comes to, having money.
Of course.
The relationship that you build with a woman is basically on money. If you take money away, well, the woman is going to frown. And I don't think you have anything to say in that regard, do you?
I'm trying to remember the lyrics of the song that says, when money enter love is sweeter, but I'll just leave it there.
Financial woman, you can say that. Well, there's much you can take on the pages of the newspaper. And let's go test the debate, which will be on the consolidation of the APC versus the realignment of the opposition. And we will be having this as we having political analysts to debate this across board to stay.
ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as natives are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
In focus, and we're looking at APC's consolidation versus opposition realignment, looking at the developments happening and the seemingly weak opposition against the ruling party's dominance is another issue for us to discuss, most especially in one of the pages of the newspaper where even the ADC is saying that they may not be able to feed candidates come 2027. You know, and all of this gears towards the fact that we must make sure that our political system is rival to bring about competitiveness, to bring about healthy rivalry. Otherwise, we will be seeing the unexpected, which wouldn't augur well for a political system and, of course, our country, Nigeria. Well, discussing this with me in the studio, I have a political analyst, and he was a member of the People's Democratic Party, but now a member of the ADC in the person of Timothy Osadolo. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Philip, and thank you for having me. Good morning, our viewers.
And of course, joining me via Zoom is Honorable Emigare Osa Kindness, a political analyst. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Nigerians. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Honorable Emigare is a member of the All Progressives Congress. And let's quickly, before I get to you, Emigare, let's get your thoughts. A lot of things have happened in the PDP, and of course, we won't be surprised that a lot of people are moving away from the PDP to even join the ADC. But again, with the challenges facing the ADC, do you see this as what will hold strong for the opposition as against the ruling party come 2027?
Well, for me, when issues like this come up, I'm quick to recall that Mazin that said, first they came from the Marxists. I didn't react, I didn't say a thing because I was the Marxist. Next they came from the Communists. I didn't react or say a thing because I wasn't a communist. Later they came from the Economist, and I didn't also react because I was not an economist. Finally, they came for me, and there was nobody to speak up because people that were speaking up, they've all been gone. Now, what does that mean? The Nigerian people or the Nigerian voters or the Nigerians who typically feels the brunt of the economic hardship, insecurity, and the cluelessness of leadership in the APC-led federal administration and state administration are not even doing enough to shore up the narrative of where the political trajectory should face or how it should go or how it should be practiced. You see, the truth is this, political parties are only vehicles to accommodate or showcase people, the desire, aspiration, and wishes of a people. If a people say we want to be progressive, a political party is a vehicle in Nigeria's constitution to express that progressive ideas. If people say want to be conservative, you need a political platform within the context of the Nigerian laws to espouse such ideas and tendencies. You see, it's unfortunate what happened to the PDP, because what we now see is a full-blown all-out attack by the government of the day through the instrumentality of state institutions. These are the same state institutions that gave them cover and protection under the PDP-led federal government. We saw the people who benefited from a robust democratic setting under the presidency of President Yar'Adua, President Jonathan, and to a large extent even President Obasanjo. Even under President Obasanjo, when federal allocations were seized to Lagos State, there was no fiat to throw out the then governor of Lagos State or to incapacitate him. He was able to create IGROs and survive. But what we now have now is either you decamp or you are out or EFCC is after you. It's now become weaponization of state institutions against individuals. The PDP, the BO that was once a mighty behemoth in the political analysis or analogy of this country, West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, and beyond, is now a far shadow. It's not even a shadow of itself. If there's an adjective to qualify the PDP, I would have used that. I don't have such adjective now in my diction or my diary. But the truth is that the people ultimately will feel the brunt of what's happening to even the ADC now if we don't all rally around to say this is our country. It is still a participatory democracy and not a monarchy. It's not a system where we have decided to make sure that whoever is sitting in Aso Rock will now be thinking about regime security rather than state security for all citizens of Nigeria. When they took oath of offices, their allegiance was first to the people and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not to themselves and their families and their wives and their allies. So until Nigerians insist and demand and come out to take back their country through the democratic processes available in the Constitution, I don't think we are ready to have this conversation of growth, development, security, and progress for Nigeria.
Thank you. Well, let's get to you, Honorable Kindness. With what is happening, the political development building up, some experts have said that rather than the ruling party to play politics with weakening fragments in opposition and making them weak, why don't you just allow these parties to breathe? Some have said that, well, the ruling party could be fingered in all of these disruptions, that are happening in the opposition ahead of 2027. What do you have to say in that regard?
Well, establish the fact that opposition is part and parcel of participatory democracy anywhere in the world, and any government that does not want opposition would have left what is known of democracy and heading into autocracy. And that is exactly what we are practicing in Nigeria just now. We have participatory democracy, and those who are saddled with responsibility of managing political parties, especially the opposition, must know that whatever they want to offer Nigeria or Nigerians must first of all start within themselves. I think it is completely wrong. It is completely unacceptable to apportion blames just now to the APC, the ruling party, and completely exonerate the ADC, who just now is supposed or seen as a rallying platform for Nigerian opposition, emerging opposition, ahead of the 2027 general election. It is currently now engulfed in multifaceted crisis, threatening its survival and credibility. And it is worthy to note that this turmoil is an avoidable, self-inflicted, protracted leadership crisis. It is not the problem of APC. It is completely wrong. It is completely unacceptable to now lay this blame on the doorsteps of the APC. For example, when the party decided to, in a Gestapo and command, political offices among themselves, like you are sharing the spoils of war, what do you have? It is internal contradiction, internal leadership ambition, inordinate ambition, and complex coalition politics. That is what the ADC is dealing with. It is completely wrong to now say that they are not the cause of their own problem. You can't, is it, for example, was it APC who said that they should just hijack this political party and share the offices among themselves? Is it APC that took David Mark and his acolytes to court? Was it APC that took them to that asked David Mark not to answer to the call of the court, to come and show cause why he should not grant a certain order and appeal instead of going to show cause? So you see that they are not taking responsibility. Opposition party must know that beyond just wanting to take over power, they must have a spelled out ideology that guides their decisions, that guides their ambition. They must also take the decision and responsibility of providing alternative platform, an alternative to what the political parties, the ruling parties currently have offering. But that we do not have in the ADC. All they wanted to do is to conglomerate and congregate just for the purpose of wresting power from the ruling party. What we have, because they had no ideologies, because they had no plans, they, in a Gestapo way, took over the political party and without proper management, ran into crisis, and now they are laying at the doorstep of the APC.
Thank you, Honorable Kindness. Well, a lot on my mind when he spoke, most especially when we look at the problems that has been bedeviled in Nigeria. And of course, you started by talking about the decadence we are in, and you credited it to the All Progressives Congress putting us where we are at present. But you forgot the fact that even when the PDP was in power, we never had it all rosy. And again, PDP seems to be in crisis. And of course, a lot of members have defected, including you, to the ADC. And questions are being asked. Is it this defection and of course this movement to ADC and what constitutes the ADC, is it a genuine coalition building effort to save Nigeria or just a survival strategy?
With all due respect to, and apologies to the sane minds and people, or the few persons with integrity in the APC, I believe that name should be taken out of the lexicon of when government issues are being discussed, or when policies formulation and implementation are being discussed. The other thing this party, APC...
What name?
The APC. You see, the only thing they specialize or they have mastered over the years is the art of grabbing power, holding on to power, and plotting to remain in power without recourse to the plight of the Nigerian people. Yes, there's no state of utopia anywhere in the world where governance is 100%, but that we were once the economic capital of the Federal Republic of Africa, or the biggest economy in Africa at a point, is a plus to the PDP-led government as it then was. But the truth is this: if we continue to compare today with the 16, 20 years ago, it means we have not made progress. When they came with the hope of with this mantra of renewed hopelessness or hope that they said that they were coming with, they didn't say they were going to come and continue to lament or preach the gospel of lamentation or comparison. They said they wanted to do things better and differently. And we have seen them do things better in worsening governance, and we have seen them do things differently in manufacturing insecurity to perpetuate and elongate their claims to power and in power. But again, if you look at the ADC, you are not just looking at a conglomeration of people who want power. I believe it's a conglomeration of all Nigerians. It's a platform for all Nigerians that have said enough is enough. This country belongs to all of us. Any right-thinking Nigerian who is not a full-blown or outspoken member of the ADC, the African Democratic Congress, as of today, is either not still in this country, or not yet of a voting age, or have not decided to play politics at all. Because if you want to play politics, first, what are your interests? Is it about you, or is it about the people? If politics is about you and you alone, then you're not ripe enough to be in this business. Yes, you may take off your personal interest, but the overriding interest of governance or good governance is the welfare of the people, is the security of the people, is the state of affairs where politics can thrive. Where there's insecurity, politics will not thrive. Where there's insecurity, businesses will not grow. And where businesses do not grow, you can know anarchy is going to hold that land or that system hostage. Now take for instance, how do people stomach the debts that goes on from the north to the west to the east to the south to every nook and cranny of this country? Even you, who is a senior member of the 4th Estate of the Rep, I am sure you are inundated with scores and scores of killings within this state, outside this state, and within this enclave called geographical space called Nigeria. That even media houses are even tired of reporting deaths as if they are reporting something that, in fact, I don't know why people still have the mind and the heart to talk about continuing in power with the number of lives that is being destroyed and lost every day, maiming of people. You saw the last video of that woman and her son in Jos. In the same climb, will this government be talking about continuity? They should be apologizing to Nigerians to say, we promise to secure you. We have failed at this manner woefully and shamelessly. And we therefore say, please, if there's the only thing you can do for us, forgive us as we go home. That is what they should be saying now.
Honorable Kindness, I really didn't plan to ask this question, but what he just said, if you agree with the fact that Nigerians, a majority of Nigerians are not happy with the situations on the ground, most especially where insecurity still continues unabated. You agree with me that the president did promise that he's going to tackle this headlong. And again, if you watched closely, even while he was in Jos, even at the airport, where he couldn't even touch into the communities, some have asked, why would the president respond by the fact that there was poor lighting system in the airport? Now, all of this seem to show that we are not really getting it right with your party. And again, that is where there is need for us to have a strong opposition, competitively, that can wrestle power, bring about healthy rivalry in order to save Nigeria. Are you not looking in this light? And don't you see that your party seems not to be doing the needful as regards fixing the country under the leadership of the president?
It's in these platforms and, of course, other platforms. that irrespective of our political divide, we are first Nigerians before we are members of political parties. And more so, whether you are in APC or in ADC, we attend the same, we go to the same markets, we are facing the same issues. Admittedly, Nigeria is dealing with a lot of issues. We have security issues, we have economic issues, and several other plethora of concerns. So everybody who is sane in this country, and we must bring that to the fore, irrespective of which political party we belong. But the question is, are there steps being taken to address these issues? The answer is yes. Have we yet had Uhuru? The answer is no. But what is my concern in this conversation is that if you say that the APC and those who are currently managing the party and government are not doing enough, the alternative just now, which is supposed to be the ADC, what are their plans? It is not enough to say that APC is not performing all that it promised to perform, but we must say that what they are doing currently. And we must also look at the state of things before this current administration came in. We must also look at those who were responsible for the running of the government at that time. For example, who are the key figures in the ADC? Where were they? What were their role in the crisis Nigeria has suffered over the years? Look at the likes of Rotimi Amechi. Look at the likes of Atiku Abubakar. Look at the likes of Peter Obi. Look at the likes of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. These are the key figures and others in ADC. They were part and parcel of this government that they now stand and tend to condemn just because they want to wrestle power from the opposition. Because political patronage did not get to them at this time, they are now condemning this government they once preached and beautified to Nigerians. You see, look, until there is a clear cut between personal ambition and the Nigeria project, we cannot have a headway as a country. Let's not deceive ourselves. Nigeria is in crisis, but those who present themselves as alternative do not have what it takes to face the current crisis in Nigeria, because Nigerians have tested them over time. They could not perform. They could not do anything. All they want to do is to continue to gratify their insatiable ambition. All they want to continue to do is to continue to amass wealth for themselves and their unborn children. But we are saying no. We must take over our country. We must deal with the issues that we are currently dealing with as a people, with a view to having results that we speak for and generations unborn. That's what I believe that this government is currently doing. We are taking part of the cross on difficult thing to do as a leader is to take tough decisions. That is what this current administration led by is currently doing by moving forward, by also looking at issues that are developed as a country, giving it a permanent solution, and not just give a cosmetic solution, but we want to it from another we are dealing with. So I believe that APC country, why we are not as a party, why we have not done correctly, why we have not done all the issues, but them to see that these issues are tackled completely. And APC as a party is not an alternative because they have not been able to manage their own ambition.
You said it all over again. Okay, Honorable Kindness, you said it, but I think you still have the floor. I'm going to ask you this very, very sensitive question. From the beginning of your argument, you agreed that the situations we are faced with in Nigeria is so unfortunate. You also agreed that we have some decadence in the polity. And again, you also made mention of the fact that we do not have the right alternative in the opposition to wrestle power with the ruling party. So by that, are you saying if we have a right alternative, if we have a very, very viral opposition, that even the president wouldn't stand a win in the ballots come 2027? Are you suggesting that?
I want to reiterate that we do not have an opposition. And even if they are opposition right now, they do not stand a chance with the president in the elections. Because it is not enough to come up with beautiful rhetorics, taking advantage of the current crisis that have bedeviled over the country, to hoodwink Nigerians and Nigeria into succumbing to their ambitions that are been seen to be inordinate just now. But what I am saying is that I, as a person, I want a Nigeria that works for me and my children and the children after me. And if I have an alternative just now that will walk this country, Nigeria, to a state of Eldorado, I will support such government. Because like I said in the beginning of this conversation, that I am first a Nigerian before I belong to a political party. Okay, so I want. Yes.
Okay, sorry for cutting in, but just quickly, I want you to score your party and, of course, the president's performance, because a lot of Nigerians are really not happy with what is happening. Even the president had to make sure that there is solar power in Aso Rock in order to tackle the aspect of the power challenge we have in the country, even when he should have fixed it. And again, we have issues where insecurity that he clamored that is going to tackle is still unabated. Can you give us a scorecard of what you see the president's priorities are like and what he's winning to deserve a win on the ballot come 2027?
The president is investing heavily on security. The president is investing heavily time and resources on saying that the economy improved. And we are seeing that in the GDP of the country and our foreign reserves. Yes, it is not yet uhuru, but the president is taking sufficient steps. There are a lot of room for improvement, correctly. There are a lot of things to be done differently. But just now, I insist very, very emphatically that the president is investing heavily on infrastructure. The decision to remove the fuel subsidy was a difficult one, but it is now being seen as improvement on our IGROs, which has translated to development in the various states. You see governors and governments of the subnationals carrying out developments at various levels and stratas of government. That is one of the beautiful things that this government is doing. Government will also have to continue to improve on its investment on security and also dot the I's and cross the T's in areas of securities. But I believe that a lot of investment also has to be done on the power sector, which the government is currently doing. Government has also taken the painful decision to deregulate power in this country. Government has also taken the tough decision to see that we promote local security, if you like, call it state security. These are decisions that previous governments were romancing and we are not able to take decisions on. Government has also to see that local government enjoys autonomy so that governance can be close to. These are decisions that we must take to see that governance get close to the people so that states can develop power and also distribute. These are the things that I believe that this government is doing to see that life becomes better for Nigeria. It is not yet Uhuru, but the loss is going on. And we do not yet have an alternative in the opposition.
Thank you, Honorable Kindness. Well, what do you have to say in reaction to that?
Well, first and foremost, amongst the beautiful gifts that the Constitution of the Federal Republic affords all of us and gives all of us is the freedom of speech. So all what he has said, the only thing I deduce from it is that he's certainly not in any way in Nigeria today. Maybe since he's joining us by Zoom, he might probably be in Australia, Hungary, or Norway, or
no, he's joining us from Port Harcourt.
Oh, Port Harcourt. Well, I thought he was outside the country because he's so disconnected from the realities on ground. You see, it's not about being verbose with words or none of that. He spoke about GDP at an all-time high. I'm not sure he knows the economy between GDP and purchasing power of citizens. I'm not sure he understands what GDP actually truly means. And if you say you are having GDP and you are on an all-time borrowing spree of over 152 trillion in less than 3 years, in governance, I wonder the GDP he's talking about or he's speaking to. You see, it's not enough to, it reminds me of Ali, the famous Ali of Baghdad, the then Minister of Information to former President Saddam Hussein, who bombs were falling behind him, was saying Baghdad is very safe, Baghdad is very peaceful, even when he was running from bombs that were falling around him. So you see, even when he was talking, I know Lai Mohammed will be shocked. People like Lai Mohammed will be shocked listening to him, because even the president will be shocked that he still has people who believes that he's doing well. Because in a sync line, in a proper scenario, I know that Remi Tinubu will never vote Bola Tinubu to continue as president. If she's allowed to do by herself and not to follow customary precedent or say you must follow your husband. You see, the truth is this. Let's speak to issues. Yes, he's right that the government has increased on security. Yes, they have increased on security votes around themselves. This government is a government of regime security. All the security votes they are doing now, buy more armored cars to secure the president and the governors, buy more bulletproof vests for the aides around them, that is not state security. If this man is very confident, let him put his family in a bus from here to Abuja by road. Or let him put them in a vehicle from Kaduna to Kara Namoda by road, or from Lagos to Ibadan. You see, we don't. I will not be praying to God, Father, let us arrive safely. You see, it's not enough to talk or just talk because you want to defend the political party. I'm glad he started by saying we are first Nigerians before becoming members of political parties. I don't believe in personal issues, but the truth is this: you begin to wonder from which part of the world people come from. You look at a president who said, "If I don't give you electricity in 4 years, if I don't remove the issues of what's it called, estimated billing, please do not vote for me." 2 years down the line, he has spent over 30 billion giving himself solar in Aso Rock. Is that not enough to tell you that the man has given up on power sector reforms? Even his Minister of Powers had to drop in throw in the towel and run. That is failure. Failure from the presidency, failure from the decisions of the presidency, and failure from the man that occupies the seat to make the difference in our lives. See, he talks about a whole lot of issues that I think he's distant and disconnected from. Nigerians are suffering. Nigerians are dying. The value of the naira is an abysmal low. It has never been so bad in this country.
But there's an increase in IGRO. You agree with that?
When we say there's an increase in IGRO, then in correlation to the debt burden, I'm afraid to say, Mr. Phillips, your unborn grandchild has a debt waiting for him in this country, unless you want to go and give birth to him in Ghana or in Soweto. Even Soweto is better than Nigeria now, because we are in the midst of so much, and yet we are amiss. We are amiss. But the president will tell you, oh, the subsidy. Yes, when they, I think it was Sani Abacha or IBB, when they removed a subsidy, then they gave us PTDF, Petroleum Trust Fund, by way to cushion it. When Yar'Adua removed subsidy, he brought with Jonathan, they brought Shopee and You Win as a way of subsidy to cushion it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has removed subsidy, and he brought Shege for all Nigerians to share from. There's nothing to show for it.
You see, Nigerians are at the crossroad where we begin to ask ourselves the questions: which way Nigeria?
The only
because we look at even the personalities, in the ADC, your party. And again, just like Peter Obi was formerly, governor of Anambra State, so the president was formerly governor of Lagos State, and we understood his track records, and also as we understand the track records of, Peter Obi. But by the time they come to power, something has happened. So, do you see genuinely, like what he said, which Nigerians are still asking questions about? Do you see genuinely an alternative in the opposition that can wrestle power with the ruling party come 2027?
First and
foremost, the caliber of persons you have in your party.
First and foremost, with all due respect to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu was still 20 years younger or 30 years younger, because we seem to see conflicting birthdays now, so that's why I would say 20 and 30 years now, because I'm nobody sure how old the president is. He was 50-something some years ago, celebrated on national dailies. He's now 70-something 30 years after. Well, it's only in Nigeria you see this kind of retrogressive mathematics that is being backed by state institutions with bold face. You see, the truth is this: between 20 and 30 years ago, if we had a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the ballot, Timothy Osadolo would be the one sharing his posters and placing it. But a complex Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu today is tired, old. I wouldn't want to say he's now losing it, but the things that come with old age has caught up with him, and the man is just being managed. Be there, just be there. He's told what he wants to hear. A man that went to Plateau could never go outside the precinct of the airport. Let me tell you, if the president is very popular, if this man that is talking on TV, on Zoom now, believes the president is very popular, let him just wear one big shirt and write APC. Let him take an integrity walk of 100 meters. An integrity walk of 100 meters between Sabogari and to the Kano Municipal, and say Nigerians, I've done well.
Why did you use that axis? You should have used Southwest.
Let him come to Benin, or let him come to Warri, or let him come to Benin. Let him wear that shirt. Let there be no policeman, no soldier man. Let him just say, market women, those people have done very well, I deserve a second tenure. Let him take a 100-meter integrity walk and do it.
I think we need more of this integrity walk.
Yes. If you as a public officer, you think you are abreast, we have done well for your people, you should be free to go and meet the people you are doing well for now.
But the question remains, do we have the right alternative? You are not answering that.
We have
because it seems to your mind you've lost track of the personality that you have in your party.
The question you have asked is, do we have the right candidates? Let me tell you, we have a plethora of persons that can do 1,000 times better. That their worst days are even the best days of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Take, for instance, let me start without in no particular order. Let me start with Rotimi Amechi, for instance, who may not be as popular as the rest of them in the pecking order. Rotimi, let's go and look at his records as governor of Rivers State. The records are there. They are infallible. The super schools.
So we had the records of the president when he was governor.
I've just said something.
Yeah.
I said it. I don't know how old he is now. That's a president of 20, 30 years ago.
You said that.
Because of the discrepancy of his age now, I believe I would be one supporting him. But the complexities that comes with old age does not make him to govern effectively. The only thing he just wants to do now, he wants to end up like Pobia.
Okay, but with the challenges facing your party, I will need you to respond to that in a minute. With the challenges facing your party, ADC, where we have led David Mark leadership of the ADC, and of course that of Nafiu Gombe, according to INEC, that is not going to recognize their conventions, their meetings, or their congresses. Where lies the hope of your party?
That is where I started by saying initially, it's not even about the ADC anymore. I started by saying first they came for the Marxists, later the communists, and blah 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 blah, and finally there was no one for all of us. The truth is this: the ADC is now the only lifeline for the dying Nigerians across the length and breadth of this country.
But you may not be on the ballot.
Now it's not even about the ballot. The bigger picture is this: we have a country. We will still have a country if this shenanigans that this presidency is trying to pull off through the instrumentality of Amopita in INEC is allowed to stand. I am afraid people will enter the street and cry. And how they will cry, I don't know. So let's when we do things, let's do it with caution and sensibilities, respecting people's feelings. The ADC has not erred, and it stands a chance to produce candidates for this election. Let INEC do what is right and not become an appendage of the APC-led federal government. It's an independent institution. Let it remain independent and do what is right. Nafiu that is going to court has long resigned. The letters are everywhere. The videos are everywhere. Where even the judge that gave the judge statement, he said return to status quo antebellum. And what was status quo antebellum until that man Nafiu started talking rubbish? David Mark was recognized by INEC. No, he didn't recognize himself. Even Amipita called David Mark severally for meetings, stakeholders engagements, even a NEC meetings presented by
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Timothy Osadolo. You were one time youth leader,
deputy national leader of the PDP.
Of the People's Democratic Party. Yes. Big thanks for obliging us for taking time to be part of this. Well, let's quickly go to you for your final comments in 2 minutes, Honorable Osa Kindness. The way forward. How do we make it work for Nigeria without playing politics with the ruling party issues?
First, let me say that on the integrity issue, we didn't have to go far. Let me remind Timothy, my brother, that since the emergence of ADC in 2025, Nigerians have had elections in 17 constituencies. ADC has won none. PDP got 3, APC got 14 out of the 17. It shows that Nigerians still have confidence in the party, irrespective of the current challenges. I have said before, there are challenges, but Nigerians are aware of the steps this government is taking to address those challenges. So ADC just now is certainly not an alternative. If I am them, I will go home, back to the drawing board, and work out something that Nigerians can relate with. For example, he has spoken beautifully, and like it's their stock in trade. But he has not been able to mention to Nigerians one thing that they are going to do differently, not one. In all the conversation, I try to listen to him to tell us, yes, there are security issues, there are power issues, what alternative they have, and the programs and plans they have for Nigerians to be able to resolve those issues. He never mentioned it. It shows, therefore, that what they want to do, they are congregations of aggrieved politicians who just want to wrestle power at all costs. And Nigerians are aware, and they are not going to let them have the pleasure. So ADC is not an alternative. We have an alternative. We will also be here to tell Nigerians about it.
Honorable
Therefore,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Osa Kindness Migare, for taking our time to be part of this, and we will continue to interrogate the process, and we hope that you oblige us in our forthcoming interviews with you in order to look at this critically. Well, Nigeria is our country, so we must first be Nigerians, as has been said on this, before we can say we belong to one political party or the other. Big thanks once again for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right, there's not much we can take on this. We'll take a short break, and after which we'll be joining Dominica Yemesi of our Abuja studios for the conversation from that end. Do stay.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
All right, you're still watching the program this morning on Night TV. You're now back to our Abuja studio for the continuation of our discussions. Right here, we'll be looking at insecurity. Earlier in the beginning of this this morning on Night TV, we told you about the rising cases of insecurity, especially in Plateau State after the Palm Sunday attacks, so the attacks on residents in Plateau State as well as Kaduna and Kwara places across the nation. But the FCT are really peaceful during the celebration. And I have someone who's joining us this morning to tell us more what's really transpired in the FCT as far as the festive period was concerned. During the Salah and the Easter period, the FCT was quite peaceful. I have Dr. Peter Olumbuji. He's the Secretary, Command and Control Center here in the FCT. Very good morning to you, if you can.
Good morning today, and good morning, residents of the FCT.
All right, let's begin with the FCT. We saw how our crew were in various recreational areas where we saw deployment of police security everywhere. So also was it at Washington. Can you tell us how this peaceful operation went and why we experienced that quiet atmosphere in Abuja during the festive period?
Yes, the quiet atmosphere you enjoyed in Abuja, you saw with your crew yesterday, did not just start during the Easter period. It started from the Salah celebration because the new commissioner of FCD, Sanusi PhD, talked about that anywhere he is, crime right there. And based on that, he was able to do the deployment of the police power. And I said over 1,000 personnel were deployed to ensure good security and safety for the FC. And this deployment was based more on visibility policing, intelligence-led operation, patrols, foot patrols. And you can see anywhere you go to, in the parks and the religious houses, prayers to play. This is police were and not function with all other agents. And this is one of the assurances that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, by signing are giving to the residents of the city that in every festive period they are going to enjoy good security, and that is what has been witnessed accordingly.
But aside the festive period, we know that some time ago we used to have just a handful of incidents, probably area a bit from the city. This we saw the towns about issues. Now, this deployment extended, or we just have them here in the city center, in parks and churches, like we saw at the weekend.
Yes, what you witnessed in the city center, in the metro, is also what was replicated in the various area councils during this period. And you should also know that with the good effort of the Minister of the Federal Capital providing road infrastructure in critical and difficult terrain before now, it has also added to the improvement of the security deployment and safety of every resident of the area. So what usually was located at the various area councils, and all the area commanders and other sister agencies were also briefed accordingly, and they all participated in what you saw that brought about a peaceful celebration in the FCT.
So now you're telling me that infrastructural development in terms of road has aided the deployment of personnel. But what about your response times to issues, especially crime issues? I know, like I mentioned in the past, we had issues even though FCT has been relatively quiet in terms of security. What's the response time like for residents and security personnel in terms of responding to issues? We have cases of disturbing, especially in some suburbs in the FCT. What's the response time like in the FCT in terms of security?
Yes, the response time in the FCT are greatly improved from the angle of the security agencies. You know, when you are talking about response time, we can consider it as a relative term. Because, for example, if there's an incident in my area and I did not alert the security agency, and I choose to alert them 3 hours after the incident occurred, that means the time the security agency will respond is 3 hours after the incident has occurred. Let me give you a practical one. During the weekend, there was a building collapse in Chukwi in Chukwi area. Immediately, the team got notice of that. Within the next 5 minutes, the security agencies were on hand to cordon lock the place to make the safety and rescue team to be able to do their work effectively. Even the commissioner of police was at the scene of the. So when you talk about response time, it depends on when the security agencies get to know about any untoward incident, and we normally encourage them to please whenever you see something going on that is not right, immediately come and strictly the enforcement is recorded.
Storming the FCT is led by yourself and the FCT, where we gates destroy infrastructures in the FCT, especially those ones normally referred to as Babambola and the rest of them. There has been a reduction in the numbers of hoodlums who destroy infrastructures in the FCT. What have you done differently for us to have this reduction? Or having them seems to way of.
No, the operation sweep have been on even before this festive period, and the reduction rate in the way in vandalizing government infrastructure have reduced because there has been a lot of pressure on those criminal elements, and a lot of arrests, a lot of prosecution are still going on present. So, yeah, you know again that the stand of the FCT minister is that do not create any ungoverned spaces within the FCT. What do I mean by that? That means all those who own plots of land and the rest, we have encouraged them to start developing it. These are places these criminals hibernate in time past, and the way those places have been developed now have also contributed to the reduction of where these people could hibernate and the pressure from the security agencies. That's why in 5 years before they go, we normally go clear them on a daily basis. But now there's no hidden spots for them. have done. And the pressure is still on them. And that's why we are getting right now in the FCT, because most of these criminal elements as well as this vandalism have been able to be shipped out of the FCT based on the pressure from the security agencies and no hiding place for them.
In terms of intelligence, God, I want to know, what's your relationship like? How do you relate with the public? How do you really get your information? Because that's one area that we felt that Nigeria is not really doing well, not just the FCT. You saw what happened in Plateau State, Kaduna, the rest of them during the festive period. In terms of intelligence gathering, before now we knew of the cases of surveillance cameras that were supposed to be installed in the FCT and all that. Are we looking towards that area also, or relationship with the public in terms of providing information to security agencies?
The Minister is someone that believes in technology usage during in security operation. We have to go with the handler. Most of them are hiding all these areas. Once you have the relationship with the traditional rulers, the traditional ruler are the grassroots. They see and know any new thing that is, any new faces that come into the exercise, and person criminal also to know how have this tendency to commit crime, or they suspect such a person in committing crime. So from there they pass on that intelligence to the security agencies, and that has become a help agency to be able to put a lot of crime and criminal elements available in these local communities. So it has really helped in contributing to the good security everyone is doing here.
So it's enough for us to say that FCT is beginning to enjoy what it seems to be like before now in terms of security. But in area of synergy with states, especially state, and the list of doing a trade on securing the FCT internally.
Yes, each state has their own security template in securing their border communities. This initiative was brought up by the FCT that involved all the other states contributors to the FCT. That's called in the area, because, for example, if you are checking out the criminal they might decide to now or to Nigeria or to bring your liberal and also you would identify across every
Okay, let's the picture beyond the FCT. I know terrorism is one thing that Nigeria has been battling for a very long time. You security experts have always profiled your solution. It is kind of the FCT from other states. We are all in Nigeria. We're saying this, and so many persons have said the government is not taking tougher measures in terms of tackling insecurity. Given the scenario that happened when the president traveled to Plateau State and less than 20 minutes in that state, just stopping at the airport and making pronouncements that many persons felt would have prevented the attacks that happened on Sunday, on Easter Sunday. Do you think the government is not taking these security issues seriously in terms of tackling insurgency?
I don't think. I think people who believe the government is not in the situations and tackling it seriously, I don't think they really understood the dynamism in this. Number one, I'm not the spokesman for the Nigeria police. I'm speaking for the FCT. I also know, because we have seen and we have got information that men is doing our best possible at the idea of once the FCT knew how he brought down the rate of vandalism in FCT and other heinous and violent crime in FCT. And if you have such a man at the Sergeant as the Inspector General of Police at the federal level, you will know that he's not a man that will toy with criminality. He's a man that wants to crush every criminal element and not make it so politics what cannot be controlled. So the federal government, I agree, they are doing the best possible. But again, we as citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we should also believe in our security agencies and also preach the gospel of success for them. Most of the time, we condemn them when their issues in other states. We don't look at the success stories that they achieve from that. Before you see an incident, you know that there's a lot of success story behind the scenes that was not even projected out. So I want to believe that the federal government is really doing her best possible in clamping down on criminality in Nigeria as a whole.
All right, let's get your thoughts of. Like I asked earlier, your response time, and I believe some Nigerians will be willing, or FCT residents will want to know, how do we get to the command center? Because definitely, I believe from the command center you're able to coordinate security within the FCT. So how do FCT residents reach in terms of maybe you want to give updates or reports incidents?
When you have fire incidents, when you have flood, security agencies, and we want to give
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship. The land of Onwa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Onwa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom. As a result, for a man to find a comfortable place for living, the name Onwa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Ugemobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Hello and welcome to the continuation of TMI from our Lagos Network studio. I am Patricia Oremu Gabriels. This is the continuation of This Morning on ITV. And here from our Lagos studio, we'll be taking a look at the renewed killings in the North Central and Northwest amidst President Tinubu's visit to Jos Plateau State. We all know that President Bola Tinubu visited Jos very recently because of what happened on On Palm Sunday, we saw the killings, what happened in Jos in Palm Sunday, and then the president had a visit, or rather made a stopover in Jos Plateau State. We're going to be taking a look at his visit. What has that visit done? Did it bring back peace in Jos, or it was just a stopping visit as usual? And for me in the studio to do this together is Dr. Sam Wasinda. Dr. Sam, if we remember, was in the studio last week, Thursday, and we promised that he was back here to conclude the disc. Of course, as at that time, we didn't know that the president was going to be visiting Jos, but he is here to conclude that discussion. Dr. Sam Wasinda is a public affairs analyst. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Behind the camera, you told me the stress you took in getting here, so we want to appreciate you this morning. Thank you. Okay, let's just, the president visited Jos, but he did not get to Rukuba, where the incident happened. He stopped at the airport, and honestly, he made the bereaved to come to the airport to receive him. Number two, he didn't spend time in Jos. Maybe 10, 20 minutes, and he made mention of no light, that they did not have electricity. Is the reason why he's just going to remain at the airport, and the visit was going to be just brief so that he can fly back. Nigerians are talking. What are you saying?
A total detachment of his person or his presence to the suffering of the people that had that challenge, because he should have gone there. There is no reason why the president shouldn't have gone to Rukuba that day. Okay, let me quickly comment there. Do you think the president does not have the opportunity over in Jos? No, he does. Don't forget that he's the #1 of this state. He's the president. He's the commander-in-chief. He to anywhere at any time and be at anywhere at any time, because he's the #1 chief security officer of the nation. And so he could sleep over if he wants to. I even expect him to have slept over. Like I said, whatever could be his excuse, if the blame, does this
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as naids are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
Well, let's start this one on ITV. Big thanks for being there as we interrogate the process as regards tackling insecurity. Basically, we look at the length and breadth of the country and the need for the government to dot the I's and, of course, cross the T's in it, most especially as we head towards the 2027 election, because the indices we have on the ground will actually determine how the ruling party is going to go about, canvassing for votes in 2027, because you can't tell me that you are not doing well, in the process of delivering on good dividends and then expect to win. But again, it is upon the ruling party to also find a lasting solution to the problems that we are faced with. Because we've had it from one party to another, because then when we had the PDP, we were also having these challenges. And some would say, well, these are guerrilla fights, and they basically they basically come on soft targets. And so you can't use this as a basis to kind of judge the performance of a ruling party or the party in government. But I think this is quite important. If you must get it right in elections, then you must deliver on good governance.
Absolutely. It should be one of the yardstick, basically, because I feel like one of the major responsibility of any government is to provide security of lives and property. And just as we heard this morning, a couple of hours ago, on the newspaper, where Peter Obi did call the security situation in the country as a national emergency. I honestly feel that the federal government should step into this and, tackle it from that point of view. Atiku also was not left out, as Atiku said to the president. We had that on the newspaper this morning. It says, keep your word to stop killings. It's not enough to talk. It's not enough to issue press statements or to say you're commiserating with them. Your heart goes out to them. It will not happen again. All of those at this point, a lot of persons are calling it rhetorics. How about you keep to your words and you ensure that all of this is put to an end, But then on the other hand, there are those who would say, could this have a political undertone to this? Because make it make sense why all of this is happening, and now a couple of months down to the election. Take you down to 2023, when the former president Goodluck Jonathan also had his own fair share, and at the end of the day had to settle in for whatever was on the table. But now we're seeing this, and I remember one particular politician came out to say that, hey, how about you guys are not using this to politicize, you know, to rub off on the president? And how about you do not politicize insecurity? Because it's really a big thing, a loss of lives. And as much as we're just talking about it, you know, having the whole front conversation, it is deeper than we can imagine. It has even gotten as bad as some of the security outfits and security officers being shot, losing their lives. Imagine losing your life just because you were fighting for a good cause. It is not supposed to be so, and all of these things need to be tackled head on.
And just like Thomas Hobbes would say when we talk about the theory of the state, that life becomes short, nasty, and brutish if there is no government. And then we look at the responsibility upon the government. We understand the fact that, yes, as citizens, we are also called into the equation. You know, we have our responsibility too to make sure that we keep watch over where we are. You know, even if you want to sleep, don't sleep with your two eyes closed and be suspicious about everything that happens in your environment.
But ideally, you're supposed to sleep with your two eyes closed, right?
Well, but that's not what we have here in the country.
Right.
We're supposed to sleep with our two eyes closed. Our senses relaxed, calm.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
We don't do that anymore. So it is a responsibility of everyone, you know. But again, huge responsibility, about 99% of it falls on the government. If I pay my tax and then you pay yours to the government, it is for the government to regulate the affairs of the citizenry, and of course to provide security. And security is number one. And I believe, as heterogeneous as we are, we basically are faced with these challenges because we come from different cultures, you know, different languages. And some would say, well, can we really be one country? Some are even conversing for more than that. But again, you look at what is upon America, you know, they also are heterogeneous, and they're able to tailor their government in a way that, you know, it suits them. I also believe that if we are patriotic enough, we can also do that. You know, we should see ourselves first as Nigerians before we see ourselves as, you know, having religion or languages or being cultural based. If we can take it upon ourselves to come together and find a lasting solution to this problem, then we'll be able to resolve it. A situation where we are calling on issues about insecurity to solve the problem of governance, it won't help us, because that's basically what the opposition may be doing, or some who want to politicize this to give a bad name, you know, to the government.
Absolutely, a lot of things being said. So when we talk about America, that's a system that works, and trying to have the contract between Nigeria and America is a completely different ballgame. And yeah, right, it's a different ballgame and different conversation entirely. But back here in Nigeria, there's this usual saying that says security is everybody's business. I think that is what should be playing out at this point. And let's talk about ourselves. So we are now in this, and I feel that we should be talking about the solutions. The IGP, Tunji Disu, the new IGP, should come out and, you know, lay out for the people, how can we do this? What can we do to help make things better? Help that you are protected in that small corner that you are in your communities, because it's really a sad thing that in some communities, some villages, people are packing their bags, packing all of their belongings and running for their life. Is that the way forward? That is the question. So at this point, we need to have community, you know, security, from to put it that way, or community policing. I
heard of the state policing.
Right. So I was listening to someone who had this beautiful idea and said we should move forward to having community policing as against the state policing, whilst that is still trying to, you know, be on hold, because the likes of the vigilante groups, likes of those other local security personnel that we get to have in our street, how about they step in and have this connection with, you know, the real security outfits in Nigeria to help give them information, to help protect that small community, so that we do not have this reoccur again. And it takes us back to Amoteku, Agu in the southeast region that we have that. So moving forward,
we have a typical of that in Edo State.
Right, we do.
Yeah.
But at some point we heard everything was disbanded.
We have a vigilante network that feeds into the larger, security outfit.
Okay, so whilst that is settled, it's one thing to have them, it's another thing to equip them with equipment and the right tools that would help fight these guys head on, because you're waging war with someone who has a great AK-47 and then you're just using a small rifle to fight them. How does that work? Make that make sense. So aside having, foot on the ground, we should have the right equipment, the right infrastructure, the right tools to help fight these guys and stop having a reactionary government. What we saw happen in Plateau State, where the Minister of Communication did state that, okay, moving forward, we are going to have CCTV cameras, we're going to have surveillance put in place in some part of the state. I don't know if that has been done, but this is Nigeria at the end of the day, and we get to see these things happen every single time. But the real question should be done. Action at this point is what is required.
Yeah, you're talking about security gadgets, and of course, where you even have drones being flown everywhere to check, these flashpoints to see where there are issues of incidences of insecurity. And again, intelligence gathering. I think that's where even the vigilante network is also doing. That's what they are also doing. They basically may not really come with these high-end weapons, but they can gather information at the level of the community and then pass it to the larger security network. And then it's like a chain reaction. But again, much should be done as regards the state policing. I want to see it work, even though we understand the fact that there's also this belief that some politicians may use it for their own personal aggrandizement or to their own selfish ends. But we can't but talk about the benefits and advantages that come with security policing. This is ahead of what we're looking at, most especially in this regard as we are faced with challenges of insecurity. Well, we're taking a short break. Actually, after that, we're going to be bringing you the news. To stay.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of 2 local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the news round at this time. I am Philip Omogyupo. The Benin Area Baptist Pastors Fellowship, under the auspices of the Edo Baptist Conference, converged on the Garden of Eden residence of the Esama of Benin, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbinedion, for their annual Easter Monday Galilee prayer. Pius Nsor reports that the event featured a blend of worship, thanksgiving, and fellowship, as gospel ministers offered fervent prayers to the Esama and his household.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
The atmosphere at the Benin City residence of His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbinedion, the Esama of Benin, was deeply spiritual, with songs of praise filling the air as ministers and guests joined in heartfelt worship. Delivering an exhortation, Reverend Godwin Edewi reminded the gathering of the profound love and sacrifice of Jesus Christ, which Easter commemorates. He also commended the Esama of Benin for his unparalleled support for evangelism, describing him as a pillar of strength within the Christian community.
To Galilee. Now hear this, when we are talking about a change of location, it may not just be that you need to go from here to the other street before you can experience what we call Galilee experience. What you need to know that this change of location can be a change of heart.
Several pastors, who include the president of Edo Baptist Conference, Reverend Osahon Ibenidu, expressed appreciation to the Esama, praising his fatherly role and sustained commitment to uplifting people across all walks of life.
Baba wowed me last year. I have not seen it like that before. The Baba called a pastor, everything about him. You know why I suppose you. So I left here with that mindset. This man is not just a man, he's also a prophet.
In his response, the Esama of Benin thanked the pastors for their prayers and for the tradition of hosting the Easter Monday Galilee prayer at his residence. He noted that the prayers remain a source of strength and encouragement to his family.
The Baptist in his Bible, John the Baptist, he has shown more than 83 times in the Bible. That shows how important you are.
The gathering also provided an opportunity for fellowship as ministers relaxed and celebrated Easter in an atmosphere of unity and joy. From Benin, Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
The leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Edo State Chapter, has called on eligible voters to participate in the Independent National Electoral Commission voter validation exercise expected to commence soon. This, they say, will enable citizens to exercise their franchise in the 2027 general elections. The state chairman, Bishop Akalame, gave the advice during a stakeholders meeting in Benin City. Evosa Wangwe completes the report.
The state IPAC chairman described as disheartening the lack of interest shown by many young people in the electoral process despite their frequent complaints about bad governance. He noted that voting remains the only constitutional means of changing leadership, stressing that non-participation weakens democracy. According to him, it is worrisome that only about 2.2 million voter cards have been collected in Edo State with over 400,000 still unclaimed.
We want to take that number from 2.6 to 4.5 because I know that the eligible number of citizens in Edo State capable to vote are more than 5 million. Why do we have 2.6? And I've always told people that once you have your PVC, you are a custodian of power. You decide who become your leader. You don't just to register. Register and have your PVC. Now we are sending a very strong message that if you are here today, that take this message back home. Tell your people that they have to get registered. Another elections are around the corner.
The State Secretary of the APC, Lawrence Oka, the Deputy Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Sawonya Tu, and other stakeholders commended IPAC for organizing the meeting. They also urged eligible citizens who are yet to register or validate their voter details to take advantage of the ongoing process.
There's nothing wrong if Edo State have about 5 million registered voters. You have the population. As for the voters, those have registered, but they have not collected their PVC. This is the time to encourage them to go and do that.
We have a lot of PVC lying down there without picking their rights, because everybody has right to vote. The executive governor of Edo State is part of this because it's part of progress.
The stakeholders meeting had in attendance representatives of various political parties and interest groups. From Benin, Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
It was a day filled with joy, gratitude, and spiritual uplift in Benin City as evangelist Esther Eagle marked her birthday in grand style. Friends, family, and well-wishers gathered at Prestige Hotel for a celebration that also witnessed the inauguration of her ministry, Healing Hands, Healing Touch, Evangelistic Ministries International. Pius Nsogo brings details.
The celebrant, evangelist Esther Eagle, made a grand entrance, dancing into the hall alongside close friends, while gospel music filled the air with guests cheering in excitement. Looking radiant, evangelist Esther was warmly received with praises and tributes from those whose lives she has impacted over the years. In an emotional address, Evangelist Esther expressed deep gratitude to God for his faithfulness, acknowledging the gift of life, purpose, and the support of loved ones around her.
I used to go on mission trips, teaching them about the things of the kingdom, righteousness and godliness.
Delivering a powerful message titled Finding Your Purpose, Bishop Shekinah Omorogbe encouraged guests to live intentionally. Goodwill messages and testimonies from friends and family characterized the event, highlighting the celebrants' compassion, generosity, and commitment to service. One close associate, Dr. Precious Iyeshua, president of Iyeshua Global Ministries, who sent in a message from abroad, described her as a woman whose life consistently reflects God's love.
Congratulations, Evangelist Dr. Esther, on the launch of your ministry and your birthday. We say happy birthday. We rejoice with you.
In a significant moment of the celebration, Evangelist Esther officially launched her ministry, an initiative focused on spreading the gospel and reaching out to the less privileged. The celebration reached its peak with the cutting of the birthday cake amidst cheers from guests.
She loves Christianity, she loves people, she loves giving out.
Esther has been my friend from childhood. In fact, we're like shadows.
Esther rescued me. She gave me money. She said, you know what? Go and get an apartment. A wonderful sister. She's a fine force in my family.
Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
Friends, relatives, and well-wishers gathered at the auditorium of Emmanuel Baptist Church, 30 Eheneden Street off Ekewan Road in Benin City, to celebrate the 90th birthday Thanksgiving of Reverend James Agbonsekilo. Ihueriomo in grand style. Speaking on the significance of the occasion and the life of the celebrant, Reverend Kingsley O. Arasoa described him as fearless Christian who has positively impacted those around him. Efosa Wangwe has more.
In his homily, Reverend Osahon Igbinidu described the day as special, noting that it coincides with Easter and the birth anniversary of Reverend James Agbonzikolo Aregwomo. Titled Celebration of the Rebirth of the Living Hope, the sermon emphasized that the only way for man to fulfill his purpose on earth is by accepting Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Took his readings from 1 Peter 1-3, Romans 3:23, and John 14:14. The cleric noted that Easter holds no true meaning without spiritual rebirth, which he said the celebrant has personally experienced.
We have the opportunity to enjoy a spiritual rebirth.
Extolling their father's virtues, the first daughter of the celebrant, Mrs. Osariwinda Iyobosa Rachel, described him as a disciplinarian. She noted that his discipline instilled values such as contentment, integrity, honesty, humility, and love in his children. The second daughter, Mrs. Debbie Ugiagbe, described her father as her pillar of strength, adding that he taught her the importance of maintaining a good name. Speaking on behalf of the children, the only son of the celebrant, Mr. David Irogomo, highlighted the lessons he learned from his father.
My dad is a very unique being. He's very simple. He's a man of faith, as he's a minister of God.
He doesn't just preach faith, he lives it.
Expressing his gratitude, the celebrant, Reverend James Agbozikilu Aruomo, thanked God for the grace to attain the age of 90. He acknowledged that all his achievements are by God's grace and gave thanks for a fulfilled life. Also speaking, his wife, Mrs. Grace Aruomo, described him as a truthful man of God.
I'm very grateful to God for all.
High point of the day was the cutting of the birthday anniversary cake. From Benin, Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
And that was it on the news round for this time. Next is TMI Socials with Anu Oluwapo Stevens. Happy viewing.
Good morning. This is CMI Socials. I am Anu Oluwapo Stevens. Or better still, call me a social media butterfly. Now today we kickstart in an interesting note as the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Olumode Adeyemi, has come under intense public scrutiny following the emergence of a video showing him riding in a large convoy during a recent visit to his hometown in Kogi State. The footage, which surfaced online shortly after the Easter period, captured the fire service chief moving with multiple vehicles and security escorts, a development that has since triggered widespread criticism across social media platforms. Let's take a look. Well, a lot of Nigerians asking, is this just for the Comptroller General, the Fire Service Chief Convoy? Well, to let you know that Adeyemi, he was appointed by President Bola Tinubu, and he assumed office in August 2025. Now let's see how you've been taking this online. This user wrote, that's over ₦1 million per movement. Personnel cost and fueling cost, add vehicle maintenance per month, then add the cost of those cars. You will realize that the Director General of the Fire Service uses close to $1 billion or more for convoy. As a nation, we don't have revenue problems, we have spending problems. Another user wrote online, Olorogu E says, what a wasteful and shameful act. Nigeria can never be great like this. While still taking more tweets from the story, we'll take Paul's tweet, who wrote, terribly sad. What does he think of power fleeting? His employers should query him. Now, away from that, let's move over to another interesting video. Well, this time around, hashtag Akpabio has been trending as a church service at the Apostolic Church Nigeria Ikote Ekpene Field turned into an unexpected spectacle on Easter Sunday when Senate President Godswill Akpabio chose to sit quietly at the back of the congregation. Now, a video of the event shared by an ex-user shows that Akpabio declined the reserved front seat for dignitaries, prompting a flurry of reactions from worshippers and church officials. Take a look. Oh my God, so that can only happen in Nigeria. Did you see how the congregation turned just to look at him? Now let's move over to a viral video of when Donald Trump attended a church service in America, and let's see how people reacted. Well, did you see Donald J. Trump offering there? Well, reacting to this online, social media has been agog with different interesting comments. Now, this user wrote, are the security not allowed to sit? Plus, why do you need this many security in a church? Hey, haven't you heard what's going on in churches now? Well, won't two be enough? Then the rest should be stationed outside or by the door. Good questions. Another user reacting online wrote, campaign has started in the church. Christians, let us all wake up. Well, still taking more tweets on this video, this user wrote, politics is around the corner. And finally, on the story, this one says, Nigerians will abuse leaders behind them, but when they see them physically, they will be licking their feet. Well, I feel it's not just Nigerians. It's a clear case of what humans do on the norms. But away from that, let's talk about Wike, who is not leaving the news anytime soon. Now, remember the saga between Wike and Channels TV presenter? He has had his own side of the story, as it says, and I quote, that people play politics with everything, and nobody knows my relationship with Seun will not begin to rant. Okay, let's listen to him verbatim.
It's really unfortunate, you know, in Nigeria, people blow everything out of context, particularly play politics with everything. Anybody who knows my relationship with Shehu will not begin to rant. So you should understand it's a figure of speech. Now to explain how angry I was, that look, how could we descend so low as a journalist? It is of you to ask questions, solicit answers from them, then you can now let the public know what is going on. So for me, I've spoken to him. We have no problem. I'm sure he understands everything.
Well, I'm sure Nigerians understand everything. Wike saying, I will shoot you is a figure of speech. I'm wondering what, is it personification or anyway? How did you take this online? We'll move over to this user who wrote, normally, if you watch the press conference without bias, you will understand it was a complete joke. I was shocked to see the responses online after the press conference. Another user reacting wrote, just apologize. How the hell is that so hard? What are you defensive about? Now, still taking more tweets on the story, this user wrote, figure of speech or not, a minister threatening to shoot a journalist isn't funny. In a democracy, words matter, especially from people in power. Now, finally, on TMI socials, well, still staying with Wike this time around from his loyalists. In a video that has now gone viral, we get to see his loyalists shouting and singing songs just because they saw Wike's portrait right there in the house. Take a feel. Well, whatever that means, I honestly do not know. Well, a lot of persons asking, is Wike now the vice president of Nigeria? Because make all of this make sense to me. Now, take a tweet on this story online. We start off with this user who wrote, nothing lasts forever and power is transient. They will surely leave office someday. Absolutely. Another user reacting to this says on X, the type of politics practiced in the South is totally different from that of other regions. Oh, really? Okay, still taking more reactions on the story. Benson says, the psychophancy in Nigeria right now is something else. Everyone is auditioning for handout. Now, finally, on the story, this user wrote, this is just slavery. Nigerians can't keep worshipping money. Well, at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's how we wrap up TMI Socials today. Big shout out to you for being a part of the show. We'll do this again, God willing, tomorrow. Till then, I am Anuluakbo Stevens. And from all of us on This Morning on ITV, Lagos, Abuja, and right here in the Delta State, please stay safe.